I was asked to speak to you guys today about activity regarding sits per week per agent, okay? Here's the secret behind what I'm going to explain to you guys. I came up with none of it. All of it is from everybody in this room, and you hear it every time, over and over. And just don't be one of the last people to have it actually sink in, okay? Because they're all going to tell you the secrets every single time you meet them. So just pick it up and keep it going. We have the greatest leaders in the world, and they have proven that. So if you're not picking it up, then just find somebody, get in contact, find a phone number, just do what you got to do to get in that, because it's super, super important. As you heard from the CEO of all of AIL yesterday, by the way, Steve Greer's speech was amazing. Listen to your mentors. Super, super important, you guys. Comes down to a couple of things for me. Clear setup and expectations is huge, as Mr. Stenglein just went through. If people don't know what's expected of them, they can't actually accomplish anything. So clear setup and expectations is really huge. Culture inside of your business is extremely important, and accountability. So I'm just going to go through a couple of things. Each week with my team, I actually create a plan with them at the beginning of the week, every week, based on their financial accountability, based on their financial needs, based on their results from the week before. So every single week at the beginning of the week on Monday morning, I sit with my people and I go through exactly what's going to happen that week, how many sits they need, all the numbers, and just work backwards. So you always start big and you always work down, always. So you need this much, down to this much, down to this much, and it comes all the way down to how many appointments you got to book today, okay? And the only way to keep it accountable is if you know the actual numbers every single day, okay? And you always work backwards. The reason you work backwards is because it's way easier to wake up and just worry about tomorrow, okay? You can always worry about tomorrow. My number one priority at all times is to fill tomorrow. I don't think about the whole week. I don't think about writing 50,000 in a month. I don't think about those numbers. You make a plan and you think about today and tomorrow. Super, super important. We use the WhatsApp group. I know MR was talking about it and Bentley was talking about it. We use the WhatsApp groups a lot. Every single morning, I started something about 2 months ago where I have every agent on their work days, in the morning, they have to post their plan for the day. Specifically, how many appointments they have on paper, what their actual goals are, how many they're going to add to today, how much they want to write, how many referrals to collect, and what they're going to put on for tomorrow, okay? And it took about 2 or 3 weeks of me consistently doing it first, okay? Because the biggest thing you guys are going to learn is if you want somebody to do something, you have to do it twice as much as they do, okay? So every morning I wake up, I put my plan. I got this many interviews, I got this many appointments on paper, and I'm going to field till this time, every single day. And what happened was, they all just started doing it. Like my WhatsApp blew up this morning with all of the plans for everybody. And it helps so much, you guys, because they can see each other's plans publicly, they can see everything that happens, and it just drives that intensity and how to keep going. So if you can find some sort of public platform to keep everybody accountable to themselves, it helps a lot. And then it builds team together, right? Everybody's doing it all together. Super important. So, when it comes down to the culture side of it, the culture, you really got to embed the culture that you want. You have to think about what you want. You have to map it out, because without a clear vision or clear goals, you can't get anywhere, I promise. So it always starts with you, no matter what. And to go back to it, my culture is I want to do twice as much as everybody in my organization at all times, okay? So if I expect, thank you. If I expect somebody to do 20 sits in a week, I better be doing 30, okay? Super, super important. If I expect people to personally recruit, I better be personally recruiting twice as much as they do, okay? And if I want somebody to do 4 sales a week, I better be doing 6 or 8. And that's the most important thing to me, because if you're going to delegate and tell people to do things you're not doing, whether they know it or not, it creates a little bit of resent in the back of the brain every single time, no matter what. So you always got to make sure you're doing more. Remember, always start with your objective or your result intended and work backwards. Okay, you should write that down. Always start with your objective or result intended and work backwards. If you do not map it out, it will not work. I promise. Okay? I hear things from some people and they say things like, well, I'm just going to work really, really hard, or I'm just going to do this, I'm just going to do that. But you can't get anywhere unless it's on paper, I promise. It's the hardest thing in the world, and I've done that myself, so I've definitely found that out. To follow on to Bentley's thing that he said yesterday, you cannot become an MGA in this business anymore with the intention of getting out of the field as fast as you can. Okay? And until you're a Josh Olin, you should be trying to map it out. I mean, look at Mark Nielsen. Mark Nielsen is one of the most successful human beings I've ever met and one of the greatest human beings I've ever had the privilege to actually speak with and become sort of friends with. And he's always out there leading from the front at all times, right? And why is his organization so successful? Because he can show them how to do 4 sales a week, and he can show them how to keep it going. And it is the most important thing for sure. I've made the mistake of getting out of the field too quick, okay? I like big production months, and anybody that knows me knows I like road trips, okay? But I got in a bad habit last year of, you go write $45,000 in a month, and the next month I'm just going to work on my team, right? And then what happens? Well, maybe you miss a month of production, maybe you're not writing as much as you should be, maybe you're not in the field as much as you should be because you're trying to work on your team because, I made a bunch of money, but maybe next month I'll make more money, so I'll be okay, right? The consistency is what's going to make the difference. If you keep jumping around like that, for me, it hurt me bad, for sure. For a few months, it hurt me really bad in the organization. So if you're going to keep it, you got to keep it consistent all the time. Super, super important. I got a question for you guys, okay? I know the average sits per week per agent isn't the highest it could be right now for a lot of people. So how many appointments do you want to have on paper for yourself and your agents on a workday? Give me some numbers. 8? Anybody else? So is it conservative to say 4 is an okay number to say? Is that okay if I use 4? Can everybody put 4 on paper for tomorrow? Okay. Everybody agree with that? Okay. How many days are you supposed to work in the field? 5 days a week? So if I have 4 on paper a day, and I work 5 days a week in the field, and my show ratio sits around 65%, give or take, how many sits a week is that? That's 13, you guys. Okay? So if you're averaging in your organization 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sits per week per agent, then realistically, they're not even having 4 on paper a day. Nobody can become successful in this business with 4 on paper a day or less, you guys. And it comes back to that same one-day thing. Always for tomorrow, okay? Accountability. Write this down. Your people will honor their commitments if they trust and respect you. Okay? Your people will honor their commitments if they trust and respect you. Now, how do you gain your people's trust? Well, some people in my organization, it's super easy. There's those people that you just click with, whether they're your friends from outside or they're new hires, doesn't matter. There's some people that you just click with. There's some temperaments and demeanors that you don't click with right away. And you need to put work into that. You need to understand their needs. This is a train your trainer business, you guys. Pay attention to their needs, okay? I have a rule. You should write this down. Always do more than you expect them to do. That's the entire theme, okay? Always do more than you expect them to do, okay? And if you catch yourself not doing it, then you better snap out of it really quick. Because gaining their respect and their trust inside the organization is the most important piece of your culture that you're going to get. And it makes accountability really, really good. Stengline just showed you that he has a meeting and did you guys see the numbers difference on that 24 hours? That was amazing, Patrick. Like amazing. For 24 hours, the differences. Okay? Why? Do you think they trust and respect him? Do you think he gives them what they need? Do you think they know that they can count on his leadership any day they need it? Right? That's the difference. Okay? Teamwork, culture, accountability, and creating plans. That's all I stay on at all times. Keep it diligent, keep it on paper, okay? And never be by yourself. Okay? I'm the first one to post my plan in the morning of what I'm going to do today. I'm never by myself. You keep 4 sales a week minimum at all times. I try to keep it to 8 if I can, okay? And then you keep the dream alive, just like Rick Altig said, go be the best you guys can be and have a great time.